Forskolin has been shown to boost memory and learning, to improve motivation and mood, and to stimulate cerebral circulation. Forskolin is the only known supplement that can naturally boost CAMP, which is cyclic adenosine monophosphate, or CAMP, in the brain. CAMP is important for neural signaling within the brain cells, and as a secondary messenger in the neurons, CAMP produces proteins that are needed for neurons and synapse growth. This process is called long-term potentiation. Long-term potentiation is the process where synaptic connections get stronger in response to electrical stimulation in the brain. This process happens naturally throughout the life experience. It's a critical part of synaptic plasticity and how experience is recorded through learning and memory. Forskolin is a chemical compound extracted from Coleus forskoli, a perennial plant native to India, Burma, and Thailand. It's been used for millennia in traditional Ayurvedic medicine to treat heart disease, convulsions, spasms, and painful urination. Forskolin activates the enzyme adenylate cyclase, and this increases cyclic adenosine monophosphate levels in the brain. The CAMP is a signal carrier that's required for intracellular communication. Increasing the CAMP levels helps to boost cognition, long-term memory, and alertness. The Forskolin works as a vasodilator, which increases blood flow in the brain. An improved blood flow increases nutrient and oxygen delivery to the brain cells. Forskolin stimulates the TRKB receptor, and this helps to potentiate brain-derived nootropic factor. Both CAMP and brain-derived nootropic factor can activate mitogen-activated protein kinase, and this plays a role in long-term potentiation, which helps to create long-term memories. As a nootropic, Forskolin is the only known supplement to naturally raise the CAMP levels. Forskolin activates the enzyme adenylate cyclase, and this increases the intracellular levels of the cyclic adenosine monophosphate. CAMP was discovered in 1956, and its production is now known to be the final common pathway for many hormones and transmitter agents. To put this in practical perspective, hormones and neurotransmitters do not enter the cell. Instead, they activate a receptor on the cell membrane that's a part of the adenylate cyclase enzyme complex. The production of CAMP in the cell is catalyzed by this complex. The cyclic adenosine monophosphate then activates the CAMP-dependent protein kinase, and this results in changes in the cell's function, based on input from the relevant hormone or neurotransmitter. The elevation of CAMP, along with the protein kinase, is required for the long-term potentiation, and this increases the neuroplasticity, and it's how long-term memories are formed and encoded in the brain. Researchers have found that increases in CAMP rapidly activate the brain-derived neurotrophic factor receptor, TRKB, and it induces brain-derived nootropic factor dependent long-term potentiation at the Schaffer collateral CA1 synapse in the hippocampus. In simpler terms, Forskolin boosts CAMP levels, and this affects long-term potentiation, and it's an integral part of the process in developing and encoding long-term memories. The Forskolin can boost brain function in several ways. It enhances the memory. As a nootropic, it has the unique ability to activate the enzyme adenylate cyclase. The activated adenylate cyclase enzyme then converts the cyclic adenosine monophosphate, or the CAMP, a secondary messenger used for intracellular communication. The CAMP helps to stimulate the production of CREB, which is CAMP response element binding protein. An increase in the CREB enhances the long-term potentiation and long-term memory formation. Long-term potentiation is the connection between the brain synapses, strengthening in response to stimulation by neurons on either side, a major component in both learning and memory. Memories are stored at a cellular level, and they're retrieved at a cellular level. This well-travelled pathway is strengthened by boosting the CAMP with the Forskolin. Forskolin increases the cerebral circulation also. It's traditionally been used to treat hypertension or high blood pressure, congestive heart failure and angina, which is reduced blood flow to the heart. It's very effective in lowering blood pressure, and scientists believe this ability to boost the blood flow is related to Forskolin's CAMP elevating ability. Researchers recruited 7 patients with dilated cardiomyopathy. This is a condition in which the heart's ability to pump blood is decreased due to the left heart ventricle being enlarged and weakened. Forskolin administration dramatically improved the left ventricle function, and it increased overall cardiovascular performance. Another group of scientists set out to study the effects of Forskolin on cerebral circulation. In this study, rabbits were anaesthetized and they were measured using devices that were attached to blood vessels entering and coming out of the brain. The study found that Forskolin was an effective cerebral vasodilator, enlarging blood vessels in the brain, which boosted the blood flow, allowing for more efficient delivery of nutrients and oxygen to the brain cells. Environmental factors like the food we eat, exposure to toxins, polluted air, ADHD, illness, stress, and aging change our brain chemistry. Mood and motivation declines. Memory and recall declines. Long-term memories start to fade. All of these changes are contributing factors to a poor quality of life, and as they progress, they can lead to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. Research from hundreds of studies and feedback from users has shown that Forskolin can boost dopamine. It can improve memory by boosting CAMP activity in the brain. It can boost catecholamines like dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. And it can boost cerebral circulation. It's a fat-soluble substance and it quickly enters the brain after you take it. Once in the brain, it boosts the CAMP activity, and the CAMP is involved in the long-term potentiation process of preserving memories. When Forskolin is combined with artichoke extract, it's even more effective. Forskolin effectively boosts CAMP levels, but it also increases PDE4. PDE4 is a CAMP inhibitor, and it can counteract the increase by the Forskolin if left unchecked. By inhibiting the PDE4 with artichoke extract and boosting the CAMP with the Forskolin, it also potentiates the dopamine release in the brain. Boosting processes in this stream of chemical reactions in the brain increases learning and memory, without the side effects of stimulating dopamine production through the use of drugs like Adderall or Ritalin. Many users report that Forskolin with artichoke extract improves the mood. It motivates you to want to learn and to get things done. Some say it works as good as modafinil. Forskolin helps to lose weight. The general consensus is improved long-term memory, increased ability to retain information, increased ability to study, and improved mood and motivation. CAMP responsive element binding protein, or CREB, is a protein that modulates the transcription of genes. Increases in CAMP trigger the activation of CREB, and this transcription factor is a big part of intracellular signaling. It regulates everything from the production of new sperm cells in men, or spermatogenesis, to the circadian rhythm that controls your sleep and wake cycles, to memory function. The Forskolin increases CAMP, and this triggers the activation of CREB. Researchers have found through animal studies that CREB is required for a variety of complex forms of memory, including spatial memory and social learning. Benzodiazepines like Valium are a class of psychoactive drug that's used to treat anxiety, insomnia, agitation, muscle spasms, alcohol withdrawal, and before medical and dental procedures to keep a patient calm. Benzodiazepines come with a host of negative side effects, including addiction, cognitive impairment, decreasing effectiveness or tolerance, and nasty withdrawal symptoms. Scientists have been studying GABAergic substances that can elevate CAMP and have anti-anxiety activity. They took a look at forskolin. In one animal study, the researchers compared the effects on anxiety of forskolin to diazepam or Valium, and they found the forskolin produced significant anti-anxiety activity in both stressed and unstressed animals. Valium had an anti-anxiety effect on the unstressed animals, but it didn't work for the stressed animals. The researchers noted that the anti-anxiety activity of the forskolin was accompanied by a significant elevation of CAMP levels. The researchers concluded that the forskolin was a better option for treating anxiety. This non-receptor mediated anti-anxiety action through the CAMP elevation was preferable to the adverse reactions that people get from using receptor-mediated drugs like benzodiazepines. Acetylcholinesterase is the primary cholinesterase in the body. This enzyme catalyzes the breakdown of acetylcholine. Once the acetylcholine is used in the synaptic cleft during the neurotransmission. During the neurotransmission, the acetylcholine is released from the first neuron into the synaptic cleft of the second neuron, where it binds to the acetylcholine receptor, and it does its job of passing on the neural signal. Once the acetylcholine has done its job, acetylcholinesterase, which is also located in the synaptic cleft, steps in and it breaks down the acetylcholine by liberating the choline. The liberated choline is taken up again by another neuron, and acetylcholine is synthesized by combining the free recycled choline with acetyl-CoA through the action of choline acetyltransferase. Chemical warfare agents like sarin gas and insecticides like malathion act to inhibit the acetylcholinesterase. This means they shut down the recycling process that's needed for acetylcholine production in the brain. Researchers have demonstrated that forskolin is a very effective acetylcholinesterase promoter. Forskolin activates the acetylcholinesterase and it upregulates its expression. Using mouse models, the scientists showed that the forskolin boosted the acetylcholinesterase expression outside and inside the affected brain cells. They concluded that the forskolin can sufficiently upregulate the cellular acetylcholinesterase production and protect the cells against chemical warfare agents like sarin gas. Forskolin works to protect your brain from damage caused by insecticides too, so if you're using an insecticide in the house or in the garden, you might want to protect your brain by dosing with forskolin first. Recommended doses of forskolin is 250 mg of a Coleus forskoli 10% extract, or 125 mg of Coleus forskoli 25% extract. For boosting CAMP, in a Siltec stack, 4 mg of forskolin extract per day, along with 900 mg of artichoke extract for the PDE4 suppression. You won't get the full nootropic benefit of using the forskolin if you take it on its own. The forskolin has a tendency to boost CAMP and PDE4, and the PDE4 suppresses the CAMP, so artichoke extract helps to control the PDE4. For counteracting forskolin's effect on acetylcholinesterase, take 800 mg of acetyl-L-carnitine. Many users of this stack report that it's helpful to also take 500 mg of phenylalanine, a B vitamin complex, and caffeine. Forskolin induces CYP3A enzyme expression in the liver. This means, like grapefruit juice, the forskolin needs to be used cautiously as it can amplify the effects of other nootropics in your diet, and also prescription medication. Acetylcholinesterase is upregulated by CAMP, and this can make you sleepy. This means that available acetylcholine in your brain drops. You can counteract this with acetyl-L-carnitine, which calms the upregulation of the acetylcholinesterase. The most common side effect with forskolin is diarrhea, because it increases CAMP and it affects the smooth muscles in your gastrointestinal tract. Things move through your intestines faster when you take forskolin, but this side effect usually only happens at much higher than the recommended dose of forskolin. Forskolin can also reduce blood pressure, So if you're on high blood pressure medication or have naturally low blood pressure, you should avoid using Forskolin. Forskolin on its own as a supplement for cognition and memory is not very effective because it increases PDE4, a CAMP reducer, along with boosting the CAMP, so the nootropic effect cancels itself out. But Forskolin is especially helpful when it's combined with artichoke extract. It helps to boost memory, to increase motivation and the desire to learn, and it helps to improve mood while controlling anxiety. A dose of 125 to 250 milligrams per day with 900 milligrams of artichoke extract taken in the morning, stacked with at least 800 milligrams of acetyl L-carnitine, can help to keep your acetylcholine levels up. It's also found that combining this with caffeine and L-theanine is a great mix. Finally, this is making the effects of normal dopamine function more effective with this mix, and it triggers the desirable downstream process that increases learning and memory. The chemical dynamics of the dopamine are preserved, and we don't get the negative side effects like using a stimulant like Adderall or Ritalin. This Forskolin and artichoke extract mix increases mental endurance for encoding long-term memories. For more information about herbs, supplements, and natural treatment plans, check out my website.